Morning guys, Friday morning. Up and out of Mount here, it's lovely. It's been nice the past few days, which is really weird for mid-March. Makes me wonder what's coming as far as hurricane season, but hey, you can't stop them. If they're coming, they're coming. You can't do anything about it. But today I wanted to talk about taking responsibility. And something that we all shy from, I think. I think we've all done it. We've all walked away from a responsibility where we don't put up our hand, and there's many different reasons for it. You know, there's some things where we may be in fear of abandonment or rejection in case someone's got upset with something that we've done. You could have been told when you was a kid, you know, that you're to blame for everything. So come to find somebody and you love them and you care about them, and you accidentally hurt them in some way, and we know it. We don't take responsibility for it. You know, even if it's done, even if we've hurt them and they don't really know it, but we know they're hurt because of us. Where it goes through, you know, it could go through another person or any, you know, whatever it may be. You might have broke something of theirs, and you put it back and don't want to take responsibility for it. You know, don't own up to it, and that causes major issues, because not only are you not taking responsibility, so you're sitting there with a load of guilt, but you're also not allowing that person to know where it's actually come from or what's happened, and being able to, for you to be able to apologise and take responsibility. If you apologise from the heart and you take responsibility for what you've done, and you change, or you're pushing and working to change that situation, and you've taken full responsibility for it, if the other person can't accept it, then that's on them. But at least you've taken responsibility. It's owning up to your side of things. If you're in relationships and, you know, there's arguments going on, own up to your piece. Own up to your piece of it. Don't be afraid to say, yeah, I was wrong there. I do it all the time now. When I'm in therapy and there's something coming up and I may be responsible for something that I'm not seeing that may have hurt my wife or my kids in some way, and I get told, hey, you know, here's your part of it. Heck yeah, I'll hold my hand up, take responsibility, and then I'll go to whoever I may have upset with my action and apologise from the heart. Let them know that I'm working on changing that. If it's something fairly simple, you can change it right there and then. But if it's something you're working on, like my anger, even though I'm a lot better, even though I'm a lot better, I'll still work on it. I always will be. So, you know, if I've upset someone with my anger in some way, and there's my part of that I'm not seeing, something maybe I was defending that. Why am I defending that? Ego, big one right there. If you're walking around with that ego, and you're walking around with that, I'm smarter than that, or I'm better than that, or I'm bigger than that, or whatever, I think I made something up there. Bigger than that. I don't even know that's a sentence or wording or what. But you know, those people there, if you're walking around with that, you know, you could be hurting people because of your ego, and you want to keep your ego intact, so people don't own up to their side. And when those people don't own up to their side, and they think that they've done no wrong, we got a problem, yeah. Because some people you're just not going to get through to, or some people, you know, it's not about getting through to. I should change that. Because if you're trying to push a point and trying to get through to them, then you're pushing your agenda. But if you feel in some way that someone's asked your advice and they're not taking your advice, then hey, so be it. That's on them, not you. But own up to your responsibilities. I remember one day when I was working in the kitchens, and I was working in a hotel in London, and it was a nice place. It was a I think it was 4-star then, hotel off of Oxford Street, and I was working in this kitchen, and then we used to do cold displays and like a buffet thing up in the restaurant, and I was doing this, well, the chef did actually, I hadn't been there long. Executive chef did this big meat display on mirrors. Now, if you know about chefing, I don't know if mirrors are still used, but we used to use mirrors because it was a nice base, it was clean, it was a nice base, it used to reflect. And you have to polish those things. You have to make sure they're really, if you're in a place like that, you can't have any little speck of anything on there. And when you put the food down and it hits that mirror, you got to leave it. You can't move it around because you're going to mess up your base. So there, the chef does this really nice meat display, puts it in the fridge, and then I come along and I want something in the fridge, and it was over the back of this meat display, and there I am grabbing this thing. Crazy. I don't know why I just didn't move because the fear of dropping the thing from moving it with my hands out of the way, it actually happened by me trying to grab so this whole meat display come off the shelf, boom, hit the floor. So what I do, panic, right? Fear kicked in. I was only young, and I grabbed this thing and I try and put it back. Remember what I said about the mirrors? I try to put it back on the mirror. It might have been on the silver, but either way, you've got to polish those things up. And I put it back on the shelf. And then I see the exec chef come down the stairs. We're all working in the kitchen. He walks in there, it's getting ready for him to put the meat display up there. And he see it. And he come to that fridge door, I'll never forget it. And he goes, "Who dropped the display?" And I'm standing there working, not saying a damn thing, and I've got like work colleagues with me. And they don't know, nobody knew. So he said it again, "Who dropped the display?" And then it was gonna get like a bit naughty. At some point it was gonna, the shit was gonna hit the fan. And I held my hand up, owned up to it. And I got a little bit of a bollocking, but I deserved it. I wasn't owning up to my responsibility. And you know what he said? He said to me, "If that ever happens again, you come and tell me." And he's right. He's right. I had guilt and so much fear all the while that was sitting in that fridge. I don't know how long it was between, but all I would have had to do was just swallow my pride and my ego and deal with the fear and go and be responsible and do the responsible thing. So if you're out there and you're not owning up to your shit, okay, things may go tits up, right? Things may go a bit crazy, but as long as you're owning up, somebody may not like the fact that you did something or you made a mistake or but as long as you're taking on your side and you're owning up to your responsibility, you're not going to sit there with the guilt. You're not going to sit there with the fear. The fear goes away because you've taken care of it. As long as it doesn't matter about the other person. Don't worry about, what they're going to think about you, etc., 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 because, hey, as long as it's coming from the heart. How you doing? As long as it's coming from the heart, what have you got to worry about? Okay, so they walk away, but at least you've owned up to your bit. If they can't handle the fact that you've actually stood up and owned up and been the better person, then it's on them. Good morning.
Good morning.
Then that's on them. That ain't on you. You did your bit. So own up your responsibility, guys. It'll actually make you feel better. That's part of you. It's part of your control. It's part of your moving forward. If you keep denying everything, you keep denying that you've done this and you've done that, and you keep pointing fingers, you're not taking responsibility for anything. You're pointing fingers at everybody else. You're pointing fingers at your tools, somebody else's problem, they made the mistake. I wouldn't be like this if it wasn't for them. Come on, guys. You can't blame other people for the way you are either. That's down to us. Yeah, they may be firing off the triggers, and they may be, you know, being a bit of a problem at times, but it's down to us how we feel and how we react and what we do about it, and staying in a calm headspace. Don't point the fingers. Take responsibility. Put your hand up. You're only going to continue an argument with somebody if you keep on fighting that you didn't do something. Because I'll tell you what, if the other person knows that you've done it, but there's no actual evidence apart from you'd have to say, then it's going nowhere. It's going to fall flat, and there's going to continually be you defending yourself. For what? For something you did? Just own up to it. It's not that big of a deal, guys. Own up to it, and you'll feel a heck of a lot better for doing it. You really will. So throw the ego to the side. Get rid of that pride thing, of whatever that may be, of not wanting to look, I don't know, whatever you call weak. Take your responsibility. Stay the course, guys. Namaste.